What's going on, YouTube? Happy Saturday to everybody. Hope you guys are having a really good weekend. What's going on, Jay? Happy Saturday, my man. Hope you're doing good. What did he say? I got you today for sure. Well, I got you too, Jay. But I hope you guys are having a really good weekend. It's Saturday. We're here. We're all alive, dealing with what we got to deal with. So I thought, why not? Let's talk a little bit about calculating your sentence. There's been some debate on this question, some confusion, even some crazy posts from other viewers that we're going to talk about a little bit. Give everybody a few moments to join us. We've got the notorious Oliver and Einstein with us. Einstein's wandering around somewhere. Oliver's over there in the chair scavenging. He can see Einstein eating food, and he's really upset because he wants to eat food. But he's a little fatty, so no food for you, Ollie. So, a while back ago, I posted a video. Here, let's see when the date was. I posted a video, and this was January 5th, 2016. So, it's been some time since I posted that video, and the title of the video was Federal Prison, How Much of My Sentence Will I Serve? And the link to that video is in the description of this video. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it a little bit is you guys know that I was sentenced to 42 months after my good time, which is about 15% roughly. You serve 85% of your imposed sentence. So after good time, that brought me down to about 35.7 months off of my 42-month sentence. Then I qualified for RDAP, completed RDAP, and I received an additional 12 months. So minus my RDAP time, that brought me to 23.7 months remaining on my sentence. And then I was also given, through the Second Chance Act, 11 months of federal halfway house, which then reduced my in-prison sentence to 12.7 months, roughly 13 months. So when I tell you guys that I was served 13 months on a 42-month sentence, that's the truth. So we had a comment, and I didn't see this comment right away, or if I did, I wasn't really paying attention to it. But somebody commented on that video, and apparently this is somebody that has done some prison time, and I've actually gotten a few text messages about this guy. So let's go ahead and address Mr. Chris Baker. Maybe you're watching, maybe you're not, but I'll post this video to the comment so he'll see it later. This comment was posted 3 weeks ago. Chris posted 13 months. You must be kidding. I've got to say, you wouldn't get 11 months in a halfway house. It's not happening. They wouldn't even do that for Michael Vick. You get 6 months. I spent more time than that on the toilet. Basically, this guy was sentenced to 70 months, and he said he was only given a few months of halfway house. And it looks like maybe he did RDAP, maybe he didn't. I can't really tell. It looks like he was using maybe a talk-to-text type of an app. But it created a lot of questions for people that are getting ready to possibly go into prison, saying, is what this guy is saying is true? Can you not get more than 6 months of federal halfway house? You absolutely can. He made a couple of really interesting comments on there that he wasn't able to get any additional time off. Michael Vick wasn't able to get any additional time off. Just because you're famous and you have you're in the public eye does not mean you're going to get additional time off, guys. One of the biggest programs that we help our clients with when clients decide to hire us for our services is helping them prepare for release from prison. And when we help you prepare for your release, it's not just getting out of prison. It's what you can be doing while you're in prison to maximize your exposure to things like additional halfway house through the Second Chance Act. Now, just because you qualify for the Second Chance Act does not necessarily mean you're going to receive any benefit from it. What you have to understand is a lot of people are trying to get information or get time off through the Second Chance Act. Everybody's going to their case manager and asking for additional time through the Second Chance Act, especially when somebody's done the RDAP program, thinking that that makes them stand out and that makes them exceptional in some way. What makes you exceptional and stand out is what you've done with your time in prison. Just because you graduated the residential drug addiction program, which has massive incentive of a year off, no one's going to give you a giant gold star or a pat on the back or a cookie or additional halfway house time just because you did what so many other people are already doing. This same technique and method and way of thinking applies to personal narratives and character reference letters. The judge has read so many letters before yours from other defendants getting ready to face a prison sentence, and the common denominator in most letters are the letters read very similar. Please, Your Honor, I'm a really good guy, I'm a really good father, I'm a really good mother, I've got a sick parent, I've got children that this is going to be really hard on, this is only hurting the kids by you sending me to prison, I've got an illness, I've got cancer, I've got severe medical conditions that sending me to prison isn't going to do any good. The judge has heard this 10 million times in the past. The only way you stand a chance at getting the judge to see you any different and possibly imposing a shorter sentence or even maybe a probated sentence is the letter has to be completely unique from what this judge is used to seeing. It has to stand out in his mind. So you have to go into that scenario, into that arena with that being your mindset as what does this judge typically read? I've got a client right now that's getting ready to get sentenced, and he's been going to the courthouse every week, sitting in on sentencings with the judge that's going to be sentencing him. And the interesting thing is what he's learned is he can reducing his fear of the courtroom by taking away this overwhelming place that I've never really been before, this new arena. By going there every week, he's becoming more and more comfortable going through the motions, sitting there in the courtroom, looking at what this judge is doing with other clients and what they like and what they don't like. These are things that can make a difference. So when I read these statements from this guy, Chris Baker, and other people like him, they didn't get any time off. They didn't do anything exceptional. He actually made a statement in here that he sat around jerking off, not literally, but he used that term as, I just sat around, I jerked off on the toilet more than you've spent time in prison. It's like, great, you spent your time doing absolutely nothing useful. You went through the motions, you did the bare minimum, and you got results from putting in bare minimum effort. What we do with our clients is we prepare you while you're going into the prison system, before you leave, while we're still conducting information back and forth prior to you entering into prison, we start preparing for your release. We start preparing a weekly, monthly progress report that we're going to be doing with you while you're in prison, encouraging you and guiding you through which classes, which courses you should be taking, how you're spending your free time, how you're interacting with others, what type of mentor programs are you involved in, whether you're being mentored or mentoring somebody else. AA, NA, what you're doing in RDAP, how you're handling RDAP. There's so many different dynamics to what makes a successful outcome in the federal prison system that when people think they have it all figured out and they think, oh, my attorney's got this covered, my attorney's going to do this for me. Guys, I'm telling you that your attorney is not going to spend this type of time and effort with you on what's necessarily needed, at least not the majority of the time. I'm sure there's some attorneys out there that have taken a strong interest in their clients and are willing to go above and beyond, but what we all see, the average attorney just does not do that. What's going on, Mr. Merrick? How are you doing today? So I really wanted to focus today on what you guys can be doing to increase the possibility for additional halfway house time. A, you've got to qualify for it. Everybody wants to take the residential drug addiction program. You definitely have to make sure you qualify for that. You have to make sure you have the proper information in your pre-sentence report. Don't just wing it. Don't just think, I read a couple things online, I got this all figured out. Because when you get to prison and you find out you don't have it all figured out, now you're slipping and you're sliding, you're backtracking, you're trying to make fast decisions without really thinking it through. And these are types of decisions that could end up getting you in additional trouble later on. So when I read these comments, I thought, man, this needs to be addressed because there's people out there that read these comments and they're thinking this guy spent time in prison, so, you know, what's to say he knows anything more or less than what RDAPdan knows? And the fact that he spent 6 years in prison, and or maybe he didn't really spend 6 years in prison. There's always that possibility that in order to get people to validate the bullshit that he's putting online, maybe he's just lying about doing federal prison time. Maybe he's never spent a day in federal prison, or maybe he spent some time in county jail or 30 days. Now, the other thing is people like, how much time am I going to serve in prison? One of the most common questions is is if I get sentenced to less than a year, do I receive good time? No. If you're sentenced under a year, you do not receive any good time. You do not get the 15% off. You're going to serve 100% of that. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get halfway house. Halfway house is still considered serving time. You're still in the BOP's custody. So if you were sentenced to, whatever, 2 years and you got a year halfway house, you're still serving your 2-year sentence. These dogs. We're going to go outside out here. Crybabies today. You're still going to serve your 85%. It's just some of it's going to be done in the halfway house. The only way you're going to reduce the 85% is with relief, like through RDAP, the Residential Drug Addiction Program. If you're not qualifying for RDAP, or you're not sentenced to enough time to qualify for RDAP, you're not going to get time off for RDAP. We've got some clients that are under the 24-month sentencing period, but they can still take RDAP. They just are not going to get time off for the program, but it still will give you a guaranteed amount of halfway house and increase the likelihood of getting additional halfway house. So if you get to prison and they tell you, hey, you can take RDAP, but we can't give you any time off for the program, I'm telling you, still take it. You're still going to get tools. You're still going to learn things that you did not know about yourself. Potentially, you're going to come out of prison a better person, and you're going to get some additional halfway house time in the process. So why not take advantage of it? Why not? I knew a lot of guys that were in prison that were taking RDAP that weren't getting time off, and they were initially doing it hoping it would help them qualify for the Second Chance Act, 12 months of halfway house. But in a lot of cases, these guys didn't get any. They didn't even get additional halfway house, but they all said they were still happy they took the program because it really did build value. Now, if you go into that program and you're like, this program's bullshit, I don't know why I'm taking this program, all they're doing is teaching you how to snitch, you're not going in with an open mind. You're not going in really trying to better yourself. RDAP is used to create tools that can help you make better decisions on how to process through choices, focus on consequences. RDAP really does have the ability of making a giant impact on your life if you let it. Hey, Greasy, how are you? Just saw you join the room there. Welcome. Got a couple clients in the room. We got Greasy and Jay, both clients. And we always got Mr. Merrick, just an awesome follower. It's Saturday. Keep this video light and short. I know you guys probably got better things to do than listen to me ramble. I'm going to be doing some stuff over at the local jails over here in Spokane. I'm going to be going in with some of the chaplain services and talking to guys that are getting ready to either head off to federal prison, that are waiting for sentencing, or waiting for designation. And then there's also guys that are going to be getting released from county jail that were only sentenced to short little state county bids. We're going to go in there and try to give them some tools that they can either take into prison with them, or give them some resources that they can leave the prison with, so that it's less likely that they're going to have to go through the same steps which led them to go into prison to begin with. So that's some things that we're going to be working on next week. I will definitely document everything that we do there. I'm going to try to get them to allow me to shoot footage while I'm in the prison. Can't promise that they're going to agree to that, but I will be updating you guys on what takes place over at the Spokane County Jail. Mr. Merrick, do other inmates leave you alone if you're in RDAP program, or do some of them give you a hard time? Yeah, man, for sure that other inmates will give you. It's more of like, not in a bad way. It's antagonizing. It's jealousy a lot of the times. They want to talk crap about the program because they know you're getting a year off and they're not. So they'll try to throw salt, and they'll wait for you to say something stupid and slip up. And those people that are not in RDAP, they are the first ones that will go tell on you to an RDAP staff member trying to get you to be removed from the program. I saw that happen a few times when I first got into the program, and I immediately made a conscious decision to more or less only spend time with other guys that were in the unit, because we were all in the unit. We all had the same objective. We all wanted to get through the program, do what we had to do, and get back to our family. Other guys have nothing to lose, so they want to see you fuck up, because we all know people love to hate. They love to live in misery. They love to see other people fail. So you have to understand that and respect that and just avoid it. If you don't give them something to bite on, there's nothing there. So yeah, it does happen. Noxter Show. What's up, Dan? I have a court date December 4th. I'm always watching your videos and miss the live ones. Well, you made it today. What's the name there? Gotta look on the other screen. The Noxters. The Noxter Show. What's your court date for on December 4th? Is it a federal issue or state, counties? But yeah, there's a lot of people in RDAP that, you know, you're gonna find mischief everywhere you go. It doesn't matter how useful the program can be. There's always going to be people that are in the program that are just going to do the wrong thing no matter what. Some people, you can't tell them anything. They don't ever want to listen. They don't want to learn. They don't want to open their mind and realize maybe they are doing something wrong that led them to go to prison. That's why prison is such a revolving door, because people do not take it serious enough. People think they have it all figured out, and they think they can get away with things a second or third time, and before you know it, they're right back in prison. Prison does offer rehabilitation. You just have to force yourself to take advantage of it. Most prisons, now I don't know about counties, but most prisons have programs available to some extent. A lot of inmates just refuse not to take them because sleeping the day away is more important, watching trash TV is more important, playing sports, doing things outside is more important. These are a lot of the things that people do instead of taking their time serious in what they're doing with federal prison. I have a minimum mandatory 3 years over my head for LSD trafficking. Yeah, you know, that's when you got those minimum mandatories hanging over your head, that's definitely extra stress on someone's mind, because now you're going to prison. You know you're going to do at least 3 years. And when you don't have a minimum mandatory, there's always that slight hope for maybe I'll get probation or maybe I'll get a shorter sentence. So I'm really sorry to hear that. And just like federal prison, the Noxter, it's just as important to have personal narratives, character reference letters that are done the right way for state prison as well. We've got state clients that have received probation. Now I know you've got a minimum mandatory, so it's a little bit different, but definitely do not go in front of that judge unprepared. Dress to impress. Don't go in there wearing jeans and a t-shirt or just a polo shirt. Get some nice clothes. If you don't have any nice clothes, borrow nice clothes. You can go to the Goodwill. You can go to the local churches and tell them you've got court and you want to make a good appearance in front of the judge. If you want it bad enough, you will find a way to look the part that you need to look the day of sentencing. I've had a minimum mandatory. It's worse than doing the time. I'm assuming you're talking about the time you've been out waiting to go in. The preparation for prison can be very stressful in a lot of ways. When you're getting ready to, once you get in trouble, indicted or arrested, and you're released on bond, and you've got several court dates ahead of you, and some of this can take several months to a couple of years. That time period of time is by far the most exhausting, anxious, stress-ridden amount of time that ever existed in my life. Prison itself was nowhere near as exhausting as thinking about going to prison, the unknown of prison. What was it really going to be like? What were the other inmates going to be like? How was I going to be perceived? Was it going to be safe? There's so many different questions that rattle through your mind at any given moment, and they just come and go in waves. You'll be fine for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden it just attacks you, and you feel like you need to go take a nap because it really wore you out to that extent. A lot of people are on medication. A lot of people are in therapy for it. And I'm not against that. You need that, but you also got to be taking steps on what you're going to do to improve it. Identify that these situations exist. Identify that these feelings are rising when they're rising, and do something about it. Do not be fearful of these thoughts. Take them head on. Do your research. Come to videos like this. If you're going to federal prison and you're going to be doing time in a camp or a low security, this is probably one of the best channels you can be watching, because it should reduce the fear and anxiety of the actual prison life. It should allow you to find that, hey, prison's not going to be the worst place in the world. You can actually turn this into a positive experience. You're going to miss your friends, you're going to miss your family, things like that, your social life. But as far as the prison experience goes, you can take every day and move forward through it. You can do something positive with every day in prison. And that starts right now. You want to train your mind now to make these conscious choices and decisions to not allow yourself to dwell on this negativity. Serving a short sentence, being able to get second chance act of up to a year of halfway house, being able to get the full year off for the residential drug addiction program. These things don't happen by luck. The only thing that is going to help you do that is hard work and effort. You can't listen to like what this other guy was talking about. What was his name again? Chris Baker. Don't listen to nitwits like that, because Chris Baker sounds like somebody that's probably in and out of the prison system, that goes in there, goofs off the whole time, and then cries because he doesn't get any of the relief that's out there. Man, you have to show that you've earned it. And this is exactly what we help our clients do. I had a client call me the other day. He said he watched one of my videos, and he said he saw me on there saying, if you're going through a rough time, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you feel like you don't have the answers, if you feel like you're searching for something, when I say I beg you to pick up the phone and give me a call. That's what he did. He picked up the phone. He said, I saw you say that on there. Your phone number was on the screen, so I thought, why not? What can I lose by giving you a call? And I'm telling you, more times than not, by the end of a conversation, whether you become a client or not, by the end of the conversation, you're typically going to have a little bit more knowledge about what's going on. You're going to feel a little bit more secure about where you're about to go. It's going to reduce the anxiety, and it's going to give you some knowledge that you can carry with you that could potentially make a huge difference in what type of sentence you're going to be serving. We offer so many different programs, so many different tools, so many different tidbits of advice that has worked for us that can now be shared with people like you guys. Hey, Edward, what's going on? Nice to see you, my man. There is no way around a minimum mandatory. You know, the only real way that I see people getting around minimum mandatories is when they're doing things like Rule 35s, when they're doing additional cooperation, not just a 5K1, but actually giving them information on additional people that really have nothing to do with your case, helping them bring up other cases. And a lot of times what will happen is you can get resentenced, or you can get time reduction for that type of assistance. But there's no guarantee to that. You're not going to get a guarantee when you're doing it. The only thing that they're going to do is tell you, we'll try. Sometimes the amount of time that it takes, you all know how long it can take from the time you get indicted to the time somebody's found guilty. So if you've got a short sentence of 2 or 3 years, by the time the feds have got that guy found guilty, getting ready to go to prison, you may already be out, and your Rule 35 never even got a chance to take off. But yet you still did the Rule 35, and now you have to worry about that. Absolutely, because you don't even know what's going to happen. Hey, Scott, what's going on, Scott? We got another client in the room, full of clients today. We got 10 people in the room, and like 4 of them are clients. You know, and this is what we like to see in this community. We like to see our clients engaging, because they're able to express how these situations have changed their life, and how once they've engaged with our channel and our communication that we have back and forth, how it's helped them to cope with what they're looking at. You know, Scott was sentenced. He's looking at a nice amount of time. What was the sentence you received, Scott? Was it not 9 years? Is the sentence you received, and you're self-surrendering in a couple of months? What's going on, Hunter? We've got the crazy, notorious, famous, infamous, maybe infamous might be a better word, infamous Hunter Moore in the room. Hunter is also I don't know if we want to call Hunter a client. Hunter was more of like a mentor. It's more like a mentor program to Hunter. Hunter found me right when I first got out of prison, and I just started posting YouTube videos. I really didn't have, it wasn't a business yet. It was just out there putting out information. And Hunter was getting ready to go into prison for his partaking in Revenge Porn King. Hunter is the Revenge Porn King of California. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Hunter Moore, Revenge Porn King, and you'll find all the tidbits you need there. There's like a special on Netflix. Hunter, when are you coming on the show? I know we talked about, I think you said October, man. We're like a couple days through October, Hunter. So we're supposed to have Hunter Moore coming on the show. This is going to be Hunter's first interview since he's been out of prison. Hunter's also writing a book all about his story. Whenever you want me to. Monday with Hunter Moore. Since you just said whenever I want, so it's today. Today's Saturday. So we'll talk over the weekend, see if you're available Monday. I'd like to do it Monday or Wednesday. Either one of those days works fine. But Hunter's got a book coming out. What's your book called, Hunter? And is it available yet? Because it's going to be a little bit about RDAPdan in Hunter's book, so we want to make sure we can get everybody to check out a copy of Hunter's book. Mr. Merrick, I watched all your earlier vids before you went to prison. You were such a different person back then. Yeah, I definitely had a different mentality before I went into prison. I really felt like the victim. I felt like I didn't really do anything wrong. I felt like that I was being taken advantage of. I just completely was not ready to accept the reality of my actions, to focus on the consequences that I put myself into. And prison, more so RDAP, is what really helped me identify those shortcomings and those flaws in who I was and who I am to this day. These are still things that I have to battle with, and there's still days that I slip up and make mistakes. But being able to own up to those mistakes and learn from them and move forward is what I feel has been my biggest improvement. Thanks, Mr. Merrick. Hunter, call me. Okay, I'll call you. Maybe I'll call you later today, because today's kind of a slow day for me. I'm just relaxing at home with the dogs. Shelly's at the hair salon, cutting hair or coloring hair. She does something with hair today. I'm not sure what she does. She's been booked, though, I'll tell you that. Her hair salon's been booked. She's booked till the end of December. So go Shelly. But basically, guys, you don't have to go through this alone. You don't have to feel like you're isolated. You don't have to feel like you're the only one that's going through this. This channel should be proof. What did Hunter just write? Take your time. No more RDAP, so I sleep in. Hunter was also a RDAP graduate. But you don't have to feel like that you're alone going through this. You don't have to feel like nobody understands. If you're coming to this channel, by now you should understand there are a lot of people that are going through what you're going through, and we create a community as a method for people to connect, whether it be through this chat room where they talk to each other. Some of you actually pick up the phone and you've talked to each other over the phone, email. So it's important to really focus on what you can be doing to increase your odds for a positive release, serving a shorter sentence. These are all things that everybody has the same concerns to. But when you think that there's nothing you can do about it, or when you think you can't afford anything, or when you think your attorney's doing everything, once you think there's either a dead end or you have it all figured out, that's when you're going to kind of run into a brick wall. So we're going to kind of wrap this video up today, unless you guys have any questions, anything you want to know. I just really wanted to explain that I was sentenced to 42 months, and I only served 13. Some people out there doubt that's true, and I mean, it's all verifiable information. You can see when I entered the BOP, you can see when I released from the BOP, and you can go online and look up public records on Pacer and see what my imposed sentence was, 42 months. I didn't get time off for telling on anybody or anything like that. It was straight up, 85% of my 42 months was 35, roughly and a half months. A year off from that for RDAP was 23.7 months. 11 months of federal halfway house was 12.7 months, 13 months. So it can be done. You just got to bust your ass and be willing to work for it, and realize that you probably don't have the necessary tools right now to do it. You are potentially going to need a guide to get you through this. Give me a call, 509-434-4695. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all those fun, exciting places. Also, make sure you text the word YouTube to 35074. Get yourself added to our notification list. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go ahead and subscribe. Tap that bell. Make sure you get notifications. And looks like Monday we'll be talking with the notorious Hunter Moore. Hope you guys have an awesome Halloween. Don't egg any houses because you'll probably go to jail for it. It's now considered an actual crime. Don't toilet paper anybody's houses. But if your house does get egged, just laugh it off, because I hope kids do go around egging things and don't get caught. That's what makes Halloween fun when you're a kid. You run around and it's supposed to be the one night you can get a little bit of harmlessness mischief out. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Love every single one of you. Every day, people helping people, one day at a time. Community is method, guys. Love every single one of you. Peace.